so much to dive into this morning, coming off of a dramatic Game 7 in Oklahoma City. It was the best of nights. It was the worst of nights. It was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Tyrese Haliburton for all the marbles. And Winman, you were in the building. Haliburton started out so hot.
When he gets off to a good start, he can have magical games. This looked like it could be a magical game for Tyrese Haliburton.
Knocks down 3 threes early, J. Will, and he looks so comfortable and in rhythm. Here's one of those 3. Again, you're seeing it just in the first couple of minutes. And then the devastation strikes. We have 5 minutes to go in the first. J. Will, we'll stay with the play. Don't worry about what happens at the other end, which is a Jalen Williams dunk. That's not what's important. J. Will, down goes Haliburton.
Yeah, we've seen this so many times, from Damian Lillard to Jason Tatum, just that pushback to try to push off to get there. And first thing I recognized, I said, that's an Achilles tendon.
You'll see it right here. You can see the
see it
back
pop
of the
right
leg.
there.
You can't miss it. We've become all too accustomed to this injury in sports today. Look at the reaction there. The towel's over his head. Winman, you were in the arena. We'll talk about it at great length. The game would, of course, must go on. Pascal Siakam trying to fire up his teammates, and J. Will, Indy actually would work their way to a 1-point lead at halftime.
Yeah, it felt like a poorly played second quarter after all that happened, but Indy was still in position to win this game, and momentum was in their favor.
Yeah, you saw Mathurin, who had 24. This is Hartenstein with a good bucket for OKC, and on the other end, it's Andrew Nembhard, who would score 15. So the Pacers up 48-47 at the half. And then the third quarter happened, and Windy, it all just went completely in OKC's direction.
This looked like a lot of games where the Thunder won this year, and they won 84 of them, including the playoffs. Turnovers lead to offense. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander cooking.
Yeah, SGA would score 29 on the night. That's Dub there knocking his shot down. Thunder by 9. And then Allen, it was the signature defense for OKC getting so much of it done.
Yeah, the turnovers, what they do when they force you. That just before we just saw a couple of threes. That 9-0 run really opened the game up and it allowed the Thunder to kind of exhale, got into their defense, and then the game got out of hand for the Pacers.
Thunder by 13 after 3. Then here's more from SGA. OKC is pulling away. SGA would be scoring, would also be dishing it here. J-Dub, who would score 20, and now they can smell it in the building. Thunder by 21. Indy would cut it to 10, Windy, in the fourth quarter.
I'm sorry to say, as I was watching this, I'm wondering what would happen if Tyrese was still there, because you know this was the zone where he would have led back the comeback.
Instead, it's Chet Holmgren with a dagger, and the celebration is on. For the first time in Oklahoma City, the Thunder are the champions. SGA is the finals MVP. The best team in basketball from the moment they threw up the first opening tip in October winds up raising the trophy. And for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he puts the finishing touches on what will go down as one of the great seasons in NBA history. He's the 4th player to win the scoring title, the MVP, and the NBA title in the same season. You see the company that he keeps. It's Shaq, it's Alcindor, and it's Michael Jordan 4 times. When it was over, here's SGA with Lisa Salters.
A lot of hard work, a lot of hours in the gym. This isn't just a win for me. This is a win for my family. This is a win for my friends. This is a win for everybody that was in my corner growing up. This is a win for the fans, the best fans in the world. We love you guys.
Not so long ago, Shai, this was a 22-win team. So what does it mean to you now to be standing here as a champion?
Yeah, it means everything. That's why you play the sport. You play the sport to win. You play every sport to win. We have a team full of competitors. You know, we did what it took this year to be champions, and we deserve this. We rose to the moment, and here we are.
Okay, everybody sit back and relax. I'm not taking a break for 25 minutes. We have so much to dive into here. And Windy, I do want to start with you because you were there. It really does feel like a tale of 2 stories on this morning, which is a shame because the Thunder deserve the celebration.
Yes, I don't want to take anything away from the Thunder. They are such a great team. They did such a good job in this series, bouncing back. They played a quality game last night to finish off a brilliant season. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander delivered what you want from an MVP in this moment. I mean, the man averaged 30 points in the finals. And they got good contributions from around the team, Chet Holmgren and everything. The crowd was spectacular from an hour before the game when they got in there. But I will never forget the what if of this game. And I'm just a personal devastation to see Tyrese go down, because you know he's trying to play through it. He's doing something because he knows it's a possibility of a once-in-a-lifetime moment. And everybody in the building, I mean, you have to understand, in this building, they stand and they cheer and they hit these noisemakers before the players even come out to warm up. And as soon as everybody realized what had happened, they all know he had a calf injury. Everybody knew. They all saw what happened on the replay. As he can't put his weight on it, everybody in the building knows what's going on. Both teams were affected. The rest of that first half was just off. The vibe in the building was off. And so you're watching this extremely high value game, Game 7 of the NBA Finals, and you've got a sick feeling in your stomach. I will never get over the odd feeling and the uncomfortableness of the way that felt.
All right, so let's just follow that from, go ahead, Jay.
I feel like we have to be able to compartmentalize it, right? And we didn't take anything away from Kawhi Leonard, right? Kawhi Leonard was a world champion, even though we saw that happen with KD. I think first off, we have to, there's no asterisk next to this game. Like, injuries are part of the game. Yeah. It happens. It makes us feel horrible. We all feel devastated for Tyrese Haliburton this morning, but OKC still won a world championship. And I literally feel as if Sam Presti has the best rebuild in the modern NBA era for what he's been able to put together with the Paul George trade, what he's been able to get finding J-Dub with the 12th pick, Chet Holmgren sitting him out for a year, to put this roster construction together to lead to a championship, one of the best defensive teams we've seen historically, maybe top 5 ever in the NBA. We have to give them their flowers off the top.
I think the simple thing is it's amazing to think that the Warriors dynasty ended on injury like this. And a new dynasty might begin with an injury like this that obviously they took advantage of and won the championship. Think about that, because we've had, this one champion for 9 years going on here, and it's been nice parity, but this Thunder team is very Spursy. They feel like they're very young. They're the youngest, second youngest to win. And the way they're built makes you feel like this is not the last time we're going to see them at this stage. So maybe you want to put an asterisk on it, maybe you don't. But the point is that don't think you're not going to see this team again.
For short time today. What a morning we got working here. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Last night in Game 7 of the NBA Finals, it was a Charles Dickens kind of winner-take-all game. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Thunder, Tyrese Haliburton and the Pacers. Here we go. Jay Will, Haliburton starts so fast, looks so good early.
I mean, had 9 points off 3 threes. Teams were getting offensive rebounds, getting kickbacks out to him for relocation threes. And his team just plays better when he scores 20 points and more. The record's like 35-4.
And then devastation strikes. Wendy, you were in the building. Take us through what it was like as we watch this moment here with Haliburton. We'll take the play to the other end.
Yeah, so the crowd cheers. The crowd cheers because it's a transition dunk, and then they see how injured he is, and then they see that it's his leg. They all know the circumstances, and the crowd is absolutely gutted. Obviously, this is a high-energy moment that is completely derailed.
You see it.
Everyone devastating that.
Everyone can see exactly what happens. Unfortunately, in sports today, we've become so familiar with this injury. We know what to look for, and we saw it there. So that's just awful. So now Pascal Siakam trying to rally his team on the bench. And Shanae, for that second quarter where both teams looked a little shaken, the Pacers were right there.
You have to credit not just in this game, NBA Finals Game 7, but the entire postseason. This team has operated fearlessly, and they go by their leader, Tyrese Haliburton, but the Thunder had it going on both ends.
Yeah, the Thunder would take over in the third. Here we are late in the first half. That was Hartenstein knocking down a shot to tie. This is hard
step back,
knocking that down. So the Pacers have a 1-point lead at halftime, but then Shanae mentioned it, in that third quarter is where OKC took over, led by SGA.
Threes. They hit 3 in a row. It was a tie score. They knocked down 3. You get this great bounce on one as well, and then you get this right here. This is the shot right here. Where they just started to get the confidence they needed. A 9-0 run. They were at an arm's length at that point, and their defense turned it on.
J-Dub with 20 last night, and here's the defense.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about that third quarter, they had 18 points off of the turnovers in that frame alone. They are suffocating, they are smothering, and they're the best defense in the NBA for a reason.
And of course, the absence of Haliburton is a factor there, and you put it into context however you wish. That's SGA on his way to being the Finals MVP, knocking it down. The celebration is on. For the first time since they were the Seattle Supersonics, this franchise hoists the Larry O'Brien Trophy, putting a finishing touch on one of the great seasons any team has ever had, and SGA one of the great seasons any player has ever had. He's the fourth ever to win the scoring title and the MVP and the championship in the same year. You see the company, it's Shaq, it's Kareem, and it was Michael Jordan 4 times. When it was done, here was SGA with Lisa Salters.
A lot of hard work, a lot of hours in the gym. This isn't just a win for me. This is a win for my family. This is a win for my friends. This is a win for everybody that was in my corner growing up. This is a win for the fans, the best fans in the world. I love you guys.
All right, Markieff is with us all morning long as well. Chiney, you're the new voice here in this hour. Before we get to we haven't touched on the Halliburton injury in a while. We're going to get back to that, but we have not gotten your thoughts. Just first off on the champions, what SGA did this year, what OKC did this year.
2 things. He mentioned the best fans in the world. We've been in the arena multiple times in Oklahoma City. When I was watching on TV, you could see that every person in every seat was standing up. That's how much they care. That's how bad they wanted the championship. But then also, when he won Finals MVP, that's when you finally saw emotion. Because SGA is someone that is cool, calm, collected. He don't break no sweat, right? But he held that Finals MVP up, and then he put out this huge sigh of relief. And that was a beautiful moment. You saw J-Dub crying. If you think about this squad, I came in learning basketball, watching the big 3 of OKC of Russ, James, and KD. And they did, that's a Hall of Fame group. They're all MVPs.
For sure.
This new iteration, it's wild how scary it is, how good they are for how young they are. At the age of 26, you listed what SGA has been able to do. Scoring title, MVP, Finals MVP, Western Conference Finals MVP, best record. The sky is the limit for this group, but it's not just him. One thing Mark Daigneault said to Scott Van Pelt really hit me. He said, this is a guy that allows his teammates to be great. Sometimes when you are one of the greatest gravitational pulls because you average 30-plus points per game, like you did in the regular season, you did the same thing in the finals, sometimes it's like a little bit of me ball. He's the opposite of that. He's we ball. He allows other people to be great. I'm excited about the future big 3 in OKC.
For sure.
How's it going, everybody? Villa Sports Network here. Just want to thank you guys for your support on the channel. Thank you guys for watching the video. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Also want to kind of remind you to don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment on the video if you like as well. But regardless of the fact, thank you again for your support, and hope to see you on the next video.